Mayonnaise. It's a very simple sauce with 3 very simple ingredients that I can teach you how to make in 5 minutes. When I was learning to cook, my focus was to make things that I would otherwise buy at the grocery store, and mayonnaise was actually not one of those things. I would use it very situationally, so I didn't want a lot of it sitting around. That's until I learned how to make it and learned what I could make from it. So now I really make about half a cup at a time, so I'm not sitting around playing beat the date, which turned out not to be such a big deal. Half a cup of oil, 1 egg yolk, and about a teaspoon of the acid of your choice, a little salt in there too. And that's my basic recipe. I'm making a triple batch today, so I'm gonna go with 3 egg yolks, and the method that I like to use is to crack them in one bowl, grab the egg yolk with my hand, and transfer it to another bowl. No other method really seems to work as consistently, as quickly as this does for me. And then since I'm making a triple batch, I'm going to go with 3 tablespoons, which equals a teaspoon of acid. Acid of your choice. I usually go with lemon juice. Today I'm going to go with white wine vinegar. It's going to make it a little less punchy and a little bit more well-rounded. You can go with the lemon juice if you like. You can go with white wine vinegar, which is just going to give you straight up acid with no flavor. I've also done this with rice wine vinegar if I'm making sort of a spicy mayonnaise for a sushi or something like that. You really want to keep in mind what you're going to be serving this with, what you're going to be pairing it with, what that flavor needs to match. Since I'm going to use this in a whole bunch of stuff, I want something a little bit more neutral and nuanced. I'm gonna do this in a bowl with a whisk. In a previous episode, I made mayonnaise in my blender, and Andy Smith cursed me and said, I'm cursed. The only way I can get my mayo to emulsify is to use a metal whisk and a copper bowl. I don't have a copper bowl. I once got this to work with an immersion blender. I think the Vitamix may not be slow enough. And ever since that comment, I actually haven't been able to get it set up in my blender. So I figured I'd teach you how to make it in a bowl with a whisk, which really doesn't take that long. I think it actually takes just as long as the blender because you still need to drizzle the oil. It's just a little bit less effort, a little bit less whisking. I have these metal bowls, these mixing bowls with the rubberized bottom so that they don't slip around, but I'm still going to use this little trick because I like a little bit of a tilt to my bowl. This will both help tilt the bowl and keep it steady so you can use both hands. Use a wet rag, wring it out, and wrap it around in a coil. Set your bowl on top. You want to combine your egg yolks and your acid with just a pinch of salt. Don't worry, we can always add more salt later. And I'm just going to drizzle this oil in very slowly while whisking constantly. And you just really have to stand there and whisk, and it's okay to take a break if you need it. Just make sure that your emulsion is set, stop drizzling, whisk a little bit more, take a breather for a few seconds, go right back into it. And then you're gonna drizzle this oil in there until it starts to look visually different. Around using 3/4 of your oil, 2/3 of your oil, you're gonna notice that this is gonna go through a little bit of a change, and that's the point where it's okay to speed up your oil drizzle. Don't dump it all in, but you can significantly speed it up as long as you're constantly whisking. Make sure to keep an eye on it. If you get to the end of your oil and your mayonnaise still doesn't look set, you can drizzle in another tablespoon at a time until it starts to set up. Sometimes it just needs a little bit more help. You can use any oil that you want right here. I like a neutral flavored oil, and since the neutral flavored high heat oil that I have at my house is avocado oil, I tend to use that. You can use vegetable oil or canola oil, but I like avocado oil because it's made from the pulp of the fruit and not the seeds. That's also the way that olive oil is made, is from the pulp of the fruit, not the seeds. And you can use olive oil. You're getting into sort of an expensive mayonnaise there, but if you really love the taste, it's gonna make it a little bit more spicy, a little bit more vegetal, full flavored. So go for it if you want. I like avocado oil. And I'm gonna store this in a mason jar in the refrigerator. Oh, it's creamy and delicious, and that white wine vinegar just gives it such a beautiful round flavor. Make sure to label anything that is homemade, at least so that you know how long it's been sitting in your fridge. I'm gonna use all of this mayo pretty regularly over the course of this month. We're gonna do a bunch of mayo-based sauces. We're gonna do some really great stuff over the course of this month. If you wanna see me make mayo in the blender, that is available right over here. And then I'm gonna put up a sauce that I made that is not mayo-based. I made a Caesar dressing a couple summers ago when I made a grilled chicken Caesar salad. That's going right here.